Hello and welcome to this update on key developments in employment law in 2022. My name is Irina Polyakova and I'm an employment solicitor from Eaton Smith. I'm here today to discuss compulsory vaccination, which will be one of the hot topics next year. Many thanks for joining me. Vaccination plays an important part in reducing the risk of COVID-19 transmission in the workplace. And today the government has legislated for compulsory vaccination in care homes in England with effect from 11th of November. However, other employers are also thinking of bringing some form of compulsory vaccination. For example, Pimlica Plumbers said, no jab, no job. Cathay Pacifics in their Malaysian office have required all staff to be compulsory vaccinated by 31st of August. Otherwise, they would instigate a disciplinary process. But imposing mandatory vaccination is likely to give rise to a number of issues, including claims of indirect discrimination based on certain protected characteristics such as race, ethnic and national origins. Please note it's highly unlikely that having some form of policy, either mandatory or the policy that would encourage vaccination, could give rise to a claim of direct discrimination. And also, please note that pregnancy and maternity is not a protected characteristic for the purposes of claiming indirect discrimination. Imposing mandatory vaccination is also unlikely to be justified on the grounds of health and safety, because as per the current government's guidance, some certain secure measures must still be put in place and complied with. A consultation with staff and trade union representatives, as well as health and safety representatives, is also likely to be complied with. And data protection implications are also likely to arise, especially of requiring staff to disclose their vaccination status, verifying accuracy of the data, as well as retaining that data. An alternative approach to a mandatory vaccination program is for the employer to introduce a policy that would encourage staff to get vaccinated against the virus. And any business thinking of imposing a policy needs to consider what potential objections might arise from the employees. One of the objections may be that our industry is not required to be compulsory vaccinated and therefore I will not vaccinate, or that we've managed up until now and what's the point now, or less intrusive measures such as wearing of face coverings, social distancing, or working from home can be considered and implemented. Or an employee is pregnant or breastfeeding and that's the reason for the refusal, or a refusal is because of the health concerns or certain beliefs that an employee holds. And whatever the objection that might arise as a business, you need to address each of them and provide reasonable evidence of considering those. And if you are thinking of dismissing an employee for a refusal to be vaccinated, you need to follow a fair procedure. And the fair procedure will include a number of steps that every employer must take. The first step is to invite an employee to a meeting in writing and explain in that letter what you wish to discuss with them. Remind them of their right to be accompanied at that meeting. Step number 2 is to assess the issue from the employee's point of view and the business point of view. Step number 3 is to hold a meeting to explore employees' reasons for the refusal, and in addition and more specifically, ask why they shouldn't be dismissed, and also consider alternatives for the dismissal. Step number 4 is to again assess the employee's objections for the refusal and any alternatives to the dismissal. And if the only reasonable option in the circumstances is a dismissal, then make a decision to dismiss and give the employee an opportunity to appeal. In a successful claim of unfair dismissal, the tribunal is likely to award compensation and also make an order for reinstatement or re-engagement. And in the future, it's likely that we will see more orders of this nature of reinstatement and re-engagement to a rule which is less critical to be vaccinated. If you are a care home, the process is much easier because with effect from the 11th of November, it will become unlawful to continue employment of any staff who is not vaccinated under Section 98 2A of the Employment Rights Act 1996. And as long as you follow a fair procedure, it's unlikely that discrimination claims will arise. And if the employer exerts unreasonable pressure on the employee to be vaccinated, then the employee can resign and make a claim of constructive and fair dismissal. The prospects of that claim are going to be higher if the employee has already explained the reasons for the refusal, but the employer continues exerting unreasonable pressure. Many thanks for listening. Stay well and safe.